Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Love It or Shove It. And today in this show, we are diving deep into relationship dynamics and ask the questions that everyone is thinking but rarely discusses. I am your co host, Irina Portnova. I call myself Manifestation Star because I manifested great things in this world and I'm here to teach you how to do it consciously. Whether you want more self love, whether you want deeper connection with that special person, or you are still in search who is that special person is for you. I'm here to help you and I'm here to guide you. And I'm here with my co host, Bruno Gill. Bruno, say a couple of words about yourself.
Yeah, of course. Hi everybody, how are you? Welcome back again to our talk show, Love It or Shove It, where we are real, authentic, and honest, transparent about all kinds of topics that we come up with, or that when we feature guests in our own talk show, come up with as well. I am a self-love coach. I help women yeah, they do end up manifesting it, but I'm a self-love coach who helps women emotionally, spiritually, and mentally, mastering ego detachment, like overcoming self-sabotage, imposter syndrome, perfectionism, burnout, right? But most importantly, finding self-love and fulfillment. Um, yes, so have a good one, and hopefully you leave a comment saying what you feel about it, right? Share with us what
Yay.
you.
I love it. I love it. So let's dive in into today's topic. I love it so much. And today we are talking about toxic communication. What is it? I mean, the silent treatment. Is it toxic or it's necessary? And I just wanted to share the statistical fact that nearly 67% of couples report using the silent treatment during conflicts. It's more common than you think, but
That's horrible.
does it really make it okay? So today we are actually pulling back the curtain on what when the silence is golden and when it's just plain damaging. Plus, we'll give you some tips and tools how to handle these moments better. All right, let's just dive in and let's just have this conversation. How do we personally feel about it? And first, we want to clarify what exactly is the silent treatment and how it differs from actually taking the space. The silent treatment occurs when one person deliberately ignores or refuses to communicate with another in order to punish them, in order to control them, or express their displeasure. And obviously, there is a difference between someone given the space or someone just stonewalling you, because given the space involves clear communication. When the person says, I need some time to cool off, let's talk later. And stonewalling is when somebody is ignoring without explanation, leaving the other person confused and anxious. And we want to dive in what exactly is all of that. And Bruno, what is your take on the silent treatment?
Yeah, well, the silent treatment is for me bullshit because if you go into a relationship and you don't really like know how to communicate with your partner, people can come to me like, yeah, I understand, but I mean, I don't really know how to do it. It's like one thing is not knowing how to do it, another thing is it's impossible to do it, and it's really like there's really no other way but to do it, right?
Mhm.
But luckily and thankfully, there is ways to know how to communicate. So silent treatment is really no reason to really be used, right? So the silent treatment for me is just a childish, insecure thing that people do when they can't be vulnerable, right? And so they act like everything is fine, but in reality, if everything was fine, then they would do things the right way, right? But they're not. So something is there that is blocking them from really understanding it. I think the silent treatment also comes when people know they're wrong, but to not give soft side, they do something that again makes people believe that they don't care, but they do. And then number three, I believe that's something that people learn. People learn every single behavior they do today. They learn it from videos, they learn it from past experience, but most importantly, they learn it from things they have seen, past experiences that maybe weren't with them, but it were with other people. And at the time, those were the people they were idolizing, right? So maybe they learned that with their parents. Maybe a man will do the silent treatment on a woman because her father would do that to her mother, to the wife, right? Or maybe the person does that to his wife because, and again, right, the husband, his father used to do that to his mother, right? Or a husband used to do that to the spouse, right? Yeah, so like there's ways to fix things. Silent treatment is not one of them, right? Because it makes the person feel neglected, makes the person feel like they're not worthy of anything. Going back home to somebody who doesn't want to talk to us after a day and still battling on something that is really like not that big of a problem if talked about. The problem becomes bigger when things start to escalate, where you don't really know what to do. Right? So the silent treatment to me is just a way for narcissists to come along, right? And be like, I am going to make you suffer by not talking to you because I know you care and I want you to care, but I'm at the same time going to make you suffer for caring, right? So it's a lot of mixed signals, right? So it's almost like having somebody in the palm of their hand and you don't care if you squash them or if you don't. And that is very, 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 very unhealthy to be a part of, right? So everybody gives you the silent treatment, just back away, run away as fast as you possibly can, because you cannot change somebody who doesn't want to change themselves, right? So yeah, take this as a grain of salt.
You know what? I love what you say and I love your attitude. And I remember when we initially started to communicate with each other, there were moments where there was that, like silence between us, right?
Right.
But I love the fact that you actually made it clear, because there was always communication where you would say, okay, like we'll talk, let's say like in 2 days, right? Whatever it was. So you were always given some kind of feedback for that, and that's exactly what I truly appreciate in you. Because when I go back in my relationship with my ex-husband, um, it was common where it was becoming more toxic when he would just shut down because he would be upset with something and he wouldn't talk to me. But I kind of became immune with the time to that, because again, it's about learning that it's never about ourselves, it's always about another person. So when person is treating you this way, there is a reason why they do it, right? So it never put it under yourself and saying, okay, this is my fault, or I misbehaved. And then a lot of times when we are not really much mindful and do not know how to handle these kind of things, a lot of times we take blame on ourselves, saying that that person is acting a certain way because of us, right? And once you start like really understanding that it's never about us, the way that the other person is acting, it's more about them. It's more about how they can really understand the dynamics. It's about them knowing how to deal with the frustration or anger, how to really be able to communicate it, right? And a lot of times, again, when we talk during this show, we talk a lot about communication, and communication is the key to everything. If the person does not know how to communicate their feelings and emotions, if the person does not know how to really communicate the hurt or the anger, that is the invitation. This is something to start from. And usually it mostly statistically it goes from man's side, because men were raised more to be like, okay, we do not have to express emotions because it's the weakness, right? And a lot of times there is a situation where the woman is on the receiving side of that silence and that mistreatment. And that's why it's so important to understand, okay, when that silence is healthy and when that silence turns into manipulation, where statistically speaking, they say if the silence lasts more than 24 hours, it starts to become toxic, especially when the people are not putting up front and saying why are they doing it, right? Or asking for that space, because there is a difference. I totally agree, like, because I do not like the conflicts. And Bruno, you know it well, right? Because
Oh yeah,
sometimes you would say to me, oh, why are you silent? Are you just, like, are you afraid to speak up? And I say, no, it's not about I'm afraid to speak up, because sometimes it's the best time to kind of pause and step out of the situation and give some time to think about it, rather than just, like, bombarding each other with unpleasant things, right? So for me, silence is necessary when it is necessary. And I would always express this in a communication where I would say, I want some space, or I need some time, right? So
hmm
it's about learning how to deliver that message. And again, relationships is something that we are learning through all our life. And it doesn't matter how long you can be in that partnership, there is always another level of depth that we can explore. There is another level of how do we make things better, how do we communicate things more properly, right? So the idea is, it's all in our perception. And again, if you feel that the partner is manipulating you by giving you that silence moment, and like I said, statistically speaking, it's more men that do it to the women to prove them something, or to show that power, to exercise the power. So my invitation is, like, always, hold your boundaries, to understand that it's never, first of all, it's never about you. It's always about somebody else. And if there is something that triggers the person in you, that means this is something that they you are the mirror, you're the reflection of that person. That means that that person has some healing to do, and that's exactly why something is triggering them.
hmm
Very important to understand that. And then again, like, question yourself, are you with the right person? Because if the person really loves you and wants the best for you, they would never leave you in that kind of situation. They would always communicate with you, and they would always want to maintain the healthy relationship, rather than going through all this roller coaster experience.
hmm I wanted to add something that you were talking about. So you talked about the silence part, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to tell you, I wanted to say to the audience that remember that it's not the tool, it's why you're using the tool,
Mm-hmm.
right? So silence is a tool, or silence is a weapon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Silence is either a tool or a weapon, right?
Totally. Mm-hmm.
And so it's why you use it, right? It's the intentions that you have behind the tool or the weapon is going to push you to use it as a tool or a weapon, right? And so, for example, between me and Irina, the way that we were doing things, that like to me, silence was never the best option because I'm a very upfront person. I'm very direct. I want to fix it now, and I want us to look each other in the eyes. We're not going to fight each other. It's not like this is not a UFC press conference where we're looking each other in the face about to smack each other up. No, we're looking each other in the eyes and we're talking, right? Like two grown
Mm-hmm.
adults. And I'm just a very upfront, direct person, right? That's how I am. And I'm not afraid or, anxious or shy about looking somebody in the eyes and, like you're staring into my soul. No, staring into my soul. Awesome. I'm going to stare into yours as well. I don't care,
Mm-hmm.
right? So um, I've always been very like that. It's not something that, and even the way I talk, like I'm not talking in a way where I'm getting riled up. That's just the way that I am, like that's it. I'm very direct. I'm very upfront. Irina knew how to deal with that with me, right? I knew how to
Mm-hmm.
end up like I knew how to deal with Irina too, right? With her more
Mm-hmm.
like laid back, more soft. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's really the opposite because we're opposites in this, right? And in a lot of relationships, people are opposites too. You have people who are more direct and upfront, and you have people who are more laid back and you like to take time, right? And
Mhm.
so Irina likes to take more time sometimes. She's more laid back. She likes to take some time to develop and think on it. I'm more like, let's go now. Let's fix it now. Like, what's the point of wasting time? Let's just do it. There's more things to do. Why even, whatever, right? And so sometimes she would do it my way, and sometimes I do it her way, right? But most importantly, we'll be like, is this truly that important for us to not talk like for 2 or 3 days? It is
Mhm.
fine. Whatever it is, fine. If that's enough to then in 2 or 3 days forgive ourselves and continue doing it and go back to normal, good. If we can fix it right now, well, then we'll just fix it right now because there's not much to think. It's really obvious, right?
Mhm.
And we had to go through that time. We had to go through that, that phase, right, in the relationship where it was like that. And a lot of times I wasn't very, very happy about it. And honestly, it's like I'd spend I'd spend days thinking about it. I'd spend days thinking about it. Days, right? I'd spend days just like meditating in my head, like I'm gonna tell her this and I'm gonna tell her that and I'm gonna do this and I'm like, oh look, oh I remember about something else and I'm gonna tell her. And at some point, after doing that like so many times, I was like you already know what you're gonna tell her. Like, why do you even care anymore? Like, just like it's not like you don't have to have the perfect answer to fix something. You just gotta say how you feel. It's not a competition, right?
Mhm.
We're not competing to see who has the better answer and if I'm able to shut you up or you shut me up. That's not it. Okay? You want to do that? Go do that in the business world. Destroy them, right? Minus your connections, right? But
Mhm.
destroy the competition, sure. But your wife or your girlfriend is not your competition. You're supposed to fix something, not destroy it even more because you're not capable of opening up the proper way. You just want to win something that really has nothing else but to win. Like there's no winning there, right?
Mhm.
So silence is good if used the right way. Silence is bad if
Mhm.
used right.
Totally.
And
Mhm.
everything can be a tool or can be a weapon depending on how you use it, right?
Mhm.
Um, and that's the thing is like, but again, it's like it's all like relationship to me. It's all about adapting, right? You
Mhm.
need to do effort into it,
Absolutely.
and no matter how much like how difficult it is, because it's. I mean, again, like it was very hard for me to like. It was so hard for me to just like, now I'm gonna have to wait. Fuck this. Like I don't. Fuck it. Fuck this. I don't want to wait. I want to fucking fix it now. Like what the fuck? Like what are we even doing? Like are we 5 year old? Like what is this? Like, but again, right? Sometimes it was like that. It was like that, but it wasn't
Mhm.
always. And that's like where you have to find the balance. Like sometimes let's do it things your way, but sometimes let's do things my way, right? Let's just fix it right
Mhm.
away. Sometimes let's just take some time, right?
Mhm.
The moment we started doing that, we started having less problems.
Mhm.
We started
Totally.
arguing less. It's like I'm not gonna lie. It's like it's not every single thing Irina does makes me, makes me be like, oh yeah, oh I love it. No, like there's some things that honestly, I'm just like, look, like why? Like honestly, just hang up anyways, whatever. Just right. And there's
Mhm.
things that I do that Irina does the same thing, right?
Yeah. It's
And yeah, so right, so let me just finish. And yeah, like so it's all about adapting and having patience for one another. It's like
Mhm.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but if you don't know this already, in 50 years, you're not going to love the person that you're with the same way that you love the person when you first met the person. Okay, that's not going to happen. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5 years. I'm pretty sure that in 5 to 10 years, I'm not going to love Irina the same way that I love her right now. Because, right? But that's the thing. Like, it goes away, it vanishes. It just goes. But you're not with that person for any reason. You didn't stay this long with this person for any reason. You stay this long for this person for a reason, right? For
Mhm.
the right reason. Because if you remember, maybe that person that you're with right now did something for you that nobody else did. And you know that no matter how much love there is not anymore there, the things that person did for you, the things Irina did for me, at least, I'm never going to be able to forget them, right? So,
You know what I wanted to add to that, Bruno? It's not about, yeah, love is always, like changes and evolves. And the way I look at it, yes, it's not the same in a couple of years because, if that's a true feeling, it's supposed to get deeper, right? So it goes beyond just the physical attraction. It goes about, like deep bond connection, right? That's why the couples stay longer if they committed to something more than just the looks, right? Than just
mhm,
like that. And again, people can continue exploring each other no matter how long they are in the relationship, right? It's all about just having something, having something that really brings that connection and something that allows that flame to be constantly on fire, right? And again, it's all up to us. It's not up to, like another person. We all have to be involved in the process. So when we talk again about silent treatment, toxic or timeout, it all depends on the situation. Sometimes there is a better chance to step out and just cool off, knowing that when we withdraw at that moment of heat, it's actually saving us from aggression, from aggravation, from frustration, and it's very, very important. I true believer that it's very important to communicate, right? So when you say why you want the space, you respectfully tell the person that it has nothing to do with them, but it's just the emotions. And sometimes when we are in the heat, we do not think clearly, do not see, do not think clearly. That's why that time is actually important. That's why there are the tools, even in the argument, in the midst of the argument, when it's just we pause and we just take that pause to kind of come back to ourselves. Because when we are in the heated moment, the emotions are like, very high, and we can say something, something that might hurt another person.
mhm,
And that's why we are saying that when you are actually secure in yourself, when you know your self worth, you would never make another person suffer for no reason.
mhm.
I'm sorry, I was just
Yeah,
coughing.
that's right. It's like it's something that like the communication, like why, like think about it. Why like why have a silent treatment? Why do that when you can teach each other how to communicate? So, for example, something that really pisses me off with Irina is she's very picky with her words, and it pisses me the fuck off because like sometimes I'm saying something and she's like, no, 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 and I'm like, what do you mean, no, no, no? Like that's how you say it. Oh no, 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 you can't say it like that. And I'm like, fuck, like yes, I can, and right. And then I was like, yeah, but I don't like when you say it like that to me because I don't see life this way. And I'm like, fuck, like why make it so complicated? Whatever. But anyways, like I could complain and complain and complain and complain and complain. But in reality, I'm like, you know what? Like, well, she's kind of teaching me how to talk to her. Number one, and then number two, like this is important for life, but for business as well. I mean, fuck. I mean, if I'm selling something to somebody, which I do in my coaching, right, or any other thing, I mean, you gotta know how to talk to other people. So like, you gotta be creative with the things you learn in your relationship, with the communication, and also know how to take them to life, like to friends, and to your job, and to all those other things, right? Because that's important. And I promise you, if you really want to make it work, you're gonna make it work well. Like you just are, like, right.
Hmm.
So it's like if you can make it work to find a time after your job, right, to go meet your friends and have a beer, or you can, if you can find time after your job to like go buy tobacco or go buy drugs or alcohol or whatever it is, well, then you'll find
Mhm.
time as well for your wife or your girlfriend or your husband or or your boyfriend or whatever it is, right? Because you will, because we always make time for our priorities, right? We always make
Mhm.
time for the things that make us be better and make us feel better, or at least make us like feel like we are someone, or make us forget what we are, right, in the present time. Simple, right? So what you value, you're nurturing, right? What you don't value, you're not nurturing, and you're going to lose it, right?
Mhm.
So you don't lose it in the next day, you lose it after many days of devaluing it. And the silent treatment is literally the number one like way, in my opinion, to devalue your plus one. Because if you're gonna do that, then just like don't even be together anymore. Like just stop believing a lie, stop believing a fad, stop believing this stale that things are not the way they are, and then whatever to then just do that. Like that makes no sense at all. Like it's a fad,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
It's literally a tale, but
Absolutely.
whatever. Yeah.
Yes. So I just love this conversation, and I would like to ask everybody who is tuning in live or watching the replay to ask you the important question: if you ever experienced that silent treatment, and how did you interpret it? Was it toxic for you, or was it the time needed just for you to sort things out? We would love to, if you can share in the comments. And again, silence is all about our perception, how we look at it, and how we have the agreement with our partner about that silence. Because sometimes it could really deteriorate our emotional safety and stability. That's why it's so important to understand that if you want to really stay in healthy connection, it's always good to communicate it to the partner. So we really want to know, what side are you on? And is it silence something that you would love, or something that you would shove? And
Mhm.
that's exactly what we want to know to keep our conversation going. Again, thanks for tuning in today for today's episode, Love It or Shove It. And I also wanted to invite anybody who is interested to understand themselves better, to see what the patterns they are carrying, and to give yourself better priority. I have this workshop that's coming in, and please register, and let's get to know each other better. And it's all about understanding who you are and who you want to become. And until next time, keep your conversations kind and your connection strong. Okay, all the best. Take care. Bye.